Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's installment of Align's Daily Dose of Advice, our way of bringing you valuable insights and thought leadership from business experts from around the world on various topics that will hopefully help you and your business. My name is Eugene Turk. I'm the Vice President of Business Development at Align, and you can always learn more about Align at aligntoday.com. My guest today is Pat Whalen. Pat is an award-winning entrepreneur, executive and professional chemical engineer with more than 20 years of hands-on experience in the development, manufacture, and delivery of molecular biology testing kits. Pat's passion is expanding awareness about biological testing and control, which has long been undervalued in many industries ranging from water management to life science to healthcare. Pat currently serves as the chairman and CEO of Lumin Ultra. And in that role, he has been involved in the development of its product line, marketing approach, sales network, operational practices, and organizational design. Pat, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me, Eugene. I appreciate the time.
So Pat, well, we've been hearing lots and lots of stories about companies pivoting or rebounding and sort of surviving and thriving through the COVID crisis, and Lumin Ultra has one of those stories. And so what I thought I'd do is first simply by asking you if you could tell us more about Lumin Ultra as a business before COVID. Sort of what was your primary product offering or service offering, to what markets, how long had you been in business, with how many employees?
Sure, yeah. Well, we've been in business for a little under 20 years. We actually got our commercial start in 2003, but started our research and development activities back in 1995. And I was right there from day one, getting promoted from janitor to laboratory technician, and then subsequently worked my way all the way to the top. We conceived the company on the basis of creating these molecular biology test kits for managing microorganisms in water.
Okay.
So if you ever hear of, E. coli contamination in water, or Legionella coming from a cooling tower attached to an office tower, these are the kinds of things that we measure. We provide these tools that can be used in a portable way in the field, giving results in a matter of minutes to determine if there is a threat or if there is not a threat. And, for this past couple of decades, our focus has been in trying to change the industry perspective from one that is very reactive, dealing with problems after they've already occurred, to being proactive and managing them before they become a problem. We made great progress in that regard. We grew our business from an original 3 founders to 75 people at the end of 2019. We went from being a small company in Atlantic Canada with a company that operated internationally, greater than 90% of our revenue coming from outside of Canada, and having offices in 6 different locations around the world, in the US, in Europe, in Australia, as well as the head office in Canada. So we've had a very good thing going for a very long time in a very slow to change industry. And we made a lot of really great progress coming into 2020 when everything started to change, of course.
And so how did the COVID crisis sort of impact your business and what you were doing, obviously with great success from the time of your origination up to the end of 2019?
So the first couple of months, really, there weren't much changes that happened. Obviously, when the COVID-19 pandemic started hitting the Asian continent, we didn't see a lot of impact here in North America or in Europe, where the majority of our business is. We initially saw some slowdown in terms of our revenue in Asia Pacific, but it's a relatively small proportion at present in terms of our total revenue. So it was largely business as usual for us up until early March, when things started really coming down hard in Europe, and caseloads started going up exponentially in North America. And the initial reaction that we had to that was, we need to batten down the hatches and begin making preparations for working from home and running in shifts and making sure that we can maintain production, because nearly 100% of our customers are essential businesses, so
Mm-hmm.
they needed to continue using our products. So we went on a very defensive mode early on, and making sure that we had all the right information technology and the right security, the right human resource practices to make sure that we could continue manufacturing and delivering our products and supporting our customers around the world. So early on, it was very much we were playing defense. And then around the mid to late March timeframe, that's when everything started to change.
And sort of how did you shift from that defensive mindset into one that was more offensive or more proactive to go out and sort of identify potential opportunities in the marketplace for your products and services, or perhaps how you could pivot your business to sort of respond to the changes that you were seeing in the marketplace?
So initially, when we went on the defensive, it was just purely thinking about the current products that we manufacture
Right.
and the current markets that we serve. Once the dust settled on that, and ironically, it was right at the end of the week when we had made all the changes to our business, sent people to work from home, start running in shifts for our production applications. The Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, went on TV and issued a call to action for Canadian industries. And it was Friday, March 20th. And by Saturday, March 21st, we were in contact with the Public Health Agency of Canada, who expressed that they had some critical shortages in their testing supply chain. And in speaking with them, we realized we had exactly the skill sets and capabilities that they were looking for. Within a few weeks, we were shipping 500,000 COVID-19 tests across Canada, and began planning for a further ramp up, and started actually the construction of a new facility
Wow.
by mid-April to be able to provide a huge amount of 20 times increase in our production capacity, so that we were able to meet not just Canada's needs, but needs around the world, because of the disruptions of supply chains had restricted the capability of making enough of these tests to be able to combat the pandemic. So we very quickly realized, I would say, after we planned our defensive strategy, that there were a lot of offensive opportunities as well. And we seized on those, working long hours with the federal government of Canada and internally to start making the necessary adaptations to our product line, to our manufacturing, to be able to facilitate delivering very large numbers of tests in a very short period of time.
And so sort of what impact has this had on your business? Obviously, I think you mentioned that all of your existing clients from the original product offering are still need to be met because those are essential businesses. So now it wasn't that that business went away. It was that you found a completely new market and new product in order to go out and get. And so what kind of impact has that had on your business?
So I would say two primary things. You're absolutely right. New markets essentially. So the first new market that came up is the clinical testing side, which we traditionally had avoided simply because it's a difficult market to enter and to penetrate effectively. Unless you're a billion-dollar company. So getting the understanding of that clinical market in a very short period of time, developing the necessary products, putting them into production, and turning that around, and starting to deliver 500,000 tests per week across Canada for the past 7 weeks was I would say a 6-month project that we compressed down to about 3 weeks. So that was a pretty substantial change. In parallel with that, we also took a look at, well, that same base technology, how else could it potentially help to combat the pandemic? And we realized that it's not just about testing people after they become infected, it's also about testing the environments in which we live, work, and play. So everything from your home to the office building in which you work, to the restaurant that you go to the train station that you catch in the morning and the evening, to the airport that you go to travel from point A to point B. All of these are areas that are slowly beginning to open up
Yeah.
beyond, of course, our individual homes. And they all have a requirement to be tested and verified that there's no presence of the virus within those places that we all travel to and walk through on a day in day out basis. So we've essentially added two brand new vertical markets on top of our traditional vertical
Right.
market in a very, very short period of time. So it has changed our business dramatically. We're doubling the size of our staff over the coming months. We're building a whole new production facility, and we're looking at ways that we can further improve the products to make them more accessible to more people.
Pat, I sort of have to ask the follow-up question. And given what you just said, how were you able to take a 6-month process and effectively implement or execute on that pivot, which many companies may be facing right now, so quickly, so efficiently within your organization?
Well, I would say we were exceptionally well prepared to be able to do it, Eugene.
Yeah.
We have been not only have we been working to scale up or grow up as a business since we took on a private equity partner in 2016,
Okay.
but at the end of 2017, we made the conscious decision to begin adopting a business management system based on the scaling up
Hmm.
framework or the Rockefeller habit framework. And we have employed an organization called Petra Coach
Hmm.
that helps us to provide the necessary tools that we can plan the execution of our business on a annual basis, quarterly basis, a monthly basis, a biweekly, and a weekly basis. We have a very defined cadence within our business that allows us to not only maintain focus when we need focus, but also be adaptable when we need to adapt. And it's not just a matter of the process, it's also a matter of the system. So we are a proud user of Align and have been for that entire period that we started working with Petra. Um, and I sit here today telling you, I don't think we could have done that without having that process and that system at our disposal. It has changed the way that we do business over the past 2 years, and certainly for the better, from a matter of standing of balancing agility and focus.
Well, thank you, Pat. That's very kind of you to say that. Given what you've experienced in a very short period of time over the last few months, what would be the number one piece of advice that you would give a fellow business owner or CEO right now who might be trying to do something similar?
Look, I think it really comes down to perseverance more than anything else. For every door that you knock on, every 100 doors that you knock on, only one of them might open up, but you're not going to get to that one that opens up until you've knocked on that first 99. We have been preaching this concept of biosafety for the past 25 years since we started the idea, the development behind Lumin Ultra. Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of awareness around biosafety today as a result, unfortunately, of this pandemic. But we are one of the companies that is very well equipped to be able to help in this environment from a very focused way in terms of testing. But we would not be here today if it was not for that persistence of truly believing, strongly believing that what we do is beneficial to the world. And through that perseverance and that persistence, we have been able to survive and thrive to what got us to where we are here in 2020 today. And it has that preparedness and that tenaciousness has allowed us to make that pivot to be able to help a lot of people around the world. And yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, as an entrepreneur, you have to be tenacious. You got to stick to your ideas. You got to stick to your guns, and you have to really be willing to fight for what you believe.
Yeah. Well, Pat, certainly I want to thank you for the work that you and your team are doing in developing these COVID tests and getting out them to communities all over Canada, the United States, and everywhere else that you're currently providing them to. Obviously, for those of you that would like to learn more about Lumin Ultra and the work that they are doing, please go to their website at LuminUltra.com. That's LuminUltra.com. Again, if you'd like to learn more about the Align software and how it has helped companies like Lumin Ultra be able to pivot and execute on their strategic plan, you can always go to aligntoday.com. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you will join us for our next daily dose of advice. Till then, we hope that you make it a great day. Thanks so much. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Eugene.